guys, it's Michelle Wolf here from Move Life, and today we're making some chocolate bars, and they're pretty healthy. So I never ever cook with granulated white sugar. I only cook with natural sugar. So today, this delicious treat is filled with lots of nutrients and healthy sugars to sweeten it. You guys are gonna love it, and at least I love it. It's so simple to make. There's 3 different layers, but I swear it's really simple. Minimal ingredients, but still packed with so much goodness. Pretty sure you're gonna love it. So I'm gonna make the recipe. You guys can follow along. I'm gonna have the recipe down below so you can check it out there. So let's get started. Okay, so this is super simple, guys. So we are gonna put everything together here in a bowl and mix it up. So I've got some almond butter. You could also use peanut butter or any kind of other like nut or seed or whatever kind of butter you wanna use here. So I'm gonna add that into the dish. Okay, and then we've got some maple syrup. So again, I'm using only natural sugars to sweeten it, but that will give it lots of sweetness right there with the maple syrup. And then I've got my coconut flour here. Coconut flour is really good for absorbing nutrients. So I'm gonna add in some there. Normally, coconut is you gotta be very specific about it, so I would measure it perfectly. But for this recipe, you really don't have to be like perfect with everything. It's quite a forgiving recipe, so any of those people who are not such great bakers, this is one recipe that's definitely forgiving. So you can give it a try and it will likely work out. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure it will. Okay, so with this, you want it to be sticky, kind of firming when you move it. You want it to kind of stick wherever you put it. And if it's a little bit too runny, it really depends on your nut butter, how creamy you have it. You want a creamy butter, but if it's too creamy, it won't be quite right for this amount of the coconut flour. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more of that coconut flour, and that's gonna make it just a little bit more firm, so it'll stay in place the way that we want it to. And so this is the bottom layer, and it's what I call the nougat. So the bottom layer of the chocolate bar. Okay, so that's actually quite firm. So you don't need that firm, but anyways, it will totally work great. So I'm gonna put this on the bottom, on the pan here. So I've got some parchment paper with a pan, and this pan's gonna be going into the freezer, so you want something that you're okay with it being in the freezer. I've just used a baking sheet, so like a cookie baking sheet. And I'm just gonna spread it out here. I do it kind of, you can really do it however you want, however thick you want your chocolate bars to be. But I'm gonna spread it out so it's probably about the length of like a 30 centimeter ruler. And the thickness is roughly like maybe like 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. Okay, so that's the bottom layer. We are gonna make the next layer and put it on right away, but while we do that, we can put this in the freezer just to let it kind of get a little bit hardened. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna put it in the freezer. Okay, next up, we are gonna be making the middle layer, which I like to call the caramel layer. So we've got some dates in here. Generally, I'm gonna be using soft dates, medjool dates, but I didn't have any. I only had the hard ones. So what I did is I just let them soak for a little while, and then I just chopped them up really, really fine, because I know this blender isn't gonna be able to break it down the way that I would like it, but it still works. So we're gonna have the dates. I've got some coconut oil here that's melted. And we've got some salt here. Again, I don't really measure very often. That's one thing I've had to do more of lately is measure, because for you guys, for the recipes, obviously you need to know a little bit more of exactly how much they are for things. But on a general basis, I usually don't measure very well. So anyways, I'm gonna do that. And then oh, sorry, that was vanilla. And then we've actually just got some water here. So I'm gonna be putting the water in there. So that is all that we need for the middle part, I think. Let me just take a look here. Yep, we're good to go. So I'm gonna be blending this up in the blender, and then we're gonna put it for the next layer, and it's gonna be delicious. Okay peeps, so I have blended this all up, and now I'm just going to place it on top of the first layer that we had waiting in the freezer. So I'm just gonna dump that on here now. This one turned out really good. I'm really liking the texture of the middle. It blended up really nicely. I didn't think these dates were gonna blend up, but I think because I chopped them up also, it really worked well. Smells so good. Okay, so you're just gonna spread it out like this. Just make it even all over. Good. So just like that, and then there is another layer of nuts. So I've got some pecans here, so I'm just gonna take those. You can chop them up if you want to, or I even just like crumble them up just because I kind of find it fun just breaking them all up. And they're all different sizes. And you can use all different sorts of nuts. You can put whatever you want, whether you want almonds or cashews. You could even put some like seeds or coconut on top as well. Coconut, actually, I never thought of that until just now. That would be really good too. All right, so that is all set and ready to go. What I do is I just pat it down like this. I just want it kind of flat so that when I go to do the chocolate, then it's gonna be flat rather than sticking out, and then I find it just looks better and works out a little bit better like that. So there you go, it's all patted, ready to go. Now I'm gonna put this in the freezer. If you wanna eat it today, I would recommend just doing the chocolate and putting the chocolate over the whole thing and then slicing it. But I like to have the chocolate around the whole pieces, like dipping it right into the chocolate, which is why I like to put it in the freezer for the whole night. But up to you, I'm gonna do that right now, put it in the freezer, and we are gonna get ready for the next batch. So for the last and final step, we're gonna be putting the chocolate around the chocolate bar. So I've got a little bit of coconut oil in this pan. I'm adding my chocolate chips. I only use a dairy-free 71% cocoa for my chocolate chips, if you guys are using that. You could also get like a chocolate bar that's just like the highest percentage or whichever percentage you wanna use. But we're gonna melt this, and then we're gonna dip our chocolate in, or our chocolate bars in the chocolate. It's gonna be so good. Okay, so we've got our beautiful bottom pieces right here, the nougat and the caramel and the nuts on top. Doesn't it look yummy so far? Okay, and then I've just melted the chocolate as well. So first off, we're gonna cut these into chocolate bars. So what I actually like to do is cut them into smaller than the whole length. You can leave it like this and just cut them into long pieces like this. Or if you're like me and you wanna make them smaller, just so that you're not always getting the whole thing, then we just cut it down the middle, and then you've got yourself kind of like a bite-sized little piece of it. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna dip it into the chocolate. Don't be afraid to get your fingers dirty. All chocolatey. By the end, it definitely gets a little sticky. The actual chocolate bar melts a little bit, so it's nice and soft. If you find that it's a little bit hard to handle, just stick it back in the freezer, and then they'll get a little bit more firm again, and then you can go at it again. Yep. Messy, but super good. Don't they look beautiful? I'm gonna stick these bad boys in the freezer, and too bad you guys can't try them. But feel free to get the recipe down below because they're so good. All right, so just like that, we have ourselves some homemade, delicious, healthy chocolate bars. These guys are super simple, as you guys can see, and it's just like minimal ingredients, all really healthy ingredients as well. So definitely give them a try. The recipe is down below, like I said. And if you do, don't be afraid to give me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if like you've changed something or want to try something different with it. I just really like them a lot. They are so good and I haven't stopped making them. They're always in my freezer since I created the recipe, and I hope you guys give them a try because they're super yummy. If you guys could be ever so kind to subscribe down below, as well as give me a big thumbs up, that would be awesome. And be sure to pass it along to any of your friends or anybody you think who would enjoy this recipe as well. And until next time, don't forget to move your body and fill your body with lots of good, healthy, delicious stuff. And if you can make your own chocolate bars, I mean, much better than the garbage you buy at the store, I swear. And this stuff has at least got nutrients in it to fill your body with goodness. Definitely has sugar, so be mindful, but much better than the ones that you're gonna find at the store. I hope you guys will like them. Bye. Okay, here we go. Melt in your mouth. Goodness. Who's coming over? Because I got way too many chocolate bars for myself. Chocolate bars. I wanna have some chocolate bars. Who wants to make some chocolate bars? I do. I do. Who wants to make some chocolate bars? I do. I do.